who's watching. Like yesterday we did the getting to know you videos, and I had mentioned how I am a firm believer that there are aliens out there. Well, what had happened was, it was a long time ago. I was about 7 years old, and it was when we were still living in Pittsford, upstate New York. And my dad was out of town on business, like either like Japan or Hong Kong, not sure which one. And so it was just my brother, my mother, and I, because everyone else was already like away at school or just out the house. And for those of you who didn't know, I'm the youngest of seven, and there's a 20-year difference between my oldest brother and me. So it's a wide range. And so it was just Jason and me who were in the house with my mom. And it was really late one night, and like my mother is, I guess, what some people call like an energy sensitive person. A lot of people think that it's just BS. That sort of thing just doesn't exist. You know, they don't believe in anything even remotely metaphysical. So those of you who don't believe in that, just completely disregard this. But there's certain things that happen that you can't explain otherwise. But like what happened was we were all sleeping in our rooms, and suddenly there was a scream, and so like we got up, or rather Jason got up. When I'm asleep, I'm basically dead to the world, and he woke me up. And so we went in there. It was my mom. You know, she was startled by something, and apparently what had happened was she was sleeping, and then she was dreaming something, but then she felt something on her shoulder, and something had pulled back the covers, and that's what woke her up. And that's when these two things were standing over her, and that's when she screamed, when she saw these things standing over her. Like my brother, being an artist, he could always draw. He's always been able to. Like when he's ambidextrous as well. So from the time he was little, he would take a pen in each hand and make all these weird noises. And by the time he was finished, he would have like a scene of what his battle was, where each pen would be a different side, and they'd be battling on the paper. But like, so anyway, my mom was describing what these things were standing over her, and Jason would draw them out onto this paper. And so like we were total nerds. But so like when my dad came home, of course my dad didn't believe it. My dad doesn't believe in any of that stuff, really, except for things that he's seen, and then he tries to explain it in the most scientific way possible because he's a physicist and engineer. But you know, even that it doesn't explain it. It doesn't do anything. But anyway, so like Jason showed, you know, my mom the sketch. She's like, yes, that's it exactly. Then I saw it. I was like, oh, you know. And then my dad came home about 2 or 3 weeks later, and he saw the thing. So he just kind of nodded his head. And then a book Communion came out, and it was the thing that my mom had seen. And apparently, within that time frame, there were a lot of these sightings, and they were all within our area. But we had no idea that this was going on, that anyone else had seen it. And these sightings are all in like a perfectly straight like formation with our house, which incidentally was also like right across the street from a cornfield. And I'll just tell my cornfield story. Okay, why I have a fear of cornfields. When I was little, this has nothing to do with the alien thing. That's finished story. Well, actually, my mom got like visited again, but that's something else. And I wasn't there, so it doesn't matter. And when I was little, there was a serial killer who killed children with the same first and last initials. And my best friend, her initials were MMM. And people would always comment on how much we looked alike, and everyone thought that we were twins. And so we lived across the street from this huge cornfield. And my brother, he was like, Lee, killer. You know, I forget what his name was. Who like initials killer or something like that. And oh yeah, and also we lived in Monroe County. He would kill children with the same first and last initials who lived in the city or the county with that start with that same letter. And so, you know, her initials were MMM. We lived in Monroe County. So she was a big candidate to be bumped off. And so Jason, he was like, you know, Lee, the killer, he's living in the cornfield. He thinks that you're Morgan. He's going to kill you. I was like, what? Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, and so he took me into the cornfield, and I think it was pretty cold outside. And so he took me into the corn, and it was really high at the time. And suddenly there was a clearing where someone had been living there, and there were like these broken beer bottles and knives, a burnt out campfire, and someone had obviously been living there. And so then he's like, yeah, see, that's him, I told you. It's just like, oh my gosh, he's gonna kill me, you know. And so to this day, I am afraid of cornfields. And then when I was living in the islands, I discovered I'm also afraid of sugarcane fields, because at night they very much resemble a cornfield. And I didn't eat corn for years because, you know, when you're playing out in the corn, you pee there too. So it's like, I don't want to eat food that like little children have peed on. But yeah, so just remember that children pee on your corn. But just yeah, I guess that's one of my fears: corn and sugar cane. I don't really feel corn. I'll probably cut this part out. Probably not, because I don't really cut things. Those of you who've ever watched my videos know that I don't really know how to edit. So this will probably stay in. But, yeah, I think that's it. Okay, anyway, I don't even remember what I was talking about anymore. Let me stop this now. Bye. Bye.